And we live, man. Welcome to another episode of the Cold Truth Podcast. Uh, we're a little late with it, but this is gonna be my late week 4 recap, plus a recap of the Falcons and the Bucs game that we experienced on Thursday Night Football, and pretty much just talking about a couple of trade rumors, and probably gonna get into some more of these week 5 matchups. But first thing first, as far as the week 4 recap, I guess the games I do want to start off with, we're gonna start off with the primetime games, man. Um, the Lions and the Lions and the Seahawks. Look, I don't think the Seahawks played a bad game at all. I mean, they scored 29 points, but unfortunately, they went against somebody that was able to score over 40. Um, Jared Goff was that dude, man. If if you really know me, you know how much I talked about Jared Goff whenever LA to try to whenever LA decided to trade him from the Rams for Matthew Stafford. Now don't get me wrong, I understand that Matthew Stafford won his Super Bowl and the very first one that he done been to, but I said whenever they made that trade, I was like, man, I still think they could have got to the same place with Jared Goff because mind you, I would want to say that season before they traded him, he was hurt. We already seen he got to a Super Bowl. We seen him have one of the highest scoring games against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, who we thought was one of the most high power offenses in the league in that time. We did see him go toe to toe with that team. So shout out to Jared Goff. He clearly has gotten his resurgence with the Lions. Um, they clearly are a big dog in their conference. They got a tough division this year. I want to see how they look when they play the Vikings a little later on. They ain't got too much longer to wait, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's like they picking back up where they left off. I know they had a tough loss against the Buccaneers, but when you got a team that you played against last year and and it wasn't like they blew them out. It was a close game. It was a close game, but Lions and the Seahawks again. Shout out to Geno Smith, man, because even in a loss, Geno was chunking that ball, man. And I know a lot of people tried to write him off and think he wasn't this and think he wasn't that. But Geno Smith threw for almost 400 yards. I mean, I know it wasn't, the most spectacular numbers, 38 to 56, 395 yards with just one touchdown and one interception. I mean, touchdown wise, he didn't have to throw too many because Kenneth Walker had 3 rushing himself. And then, of course, DK had over 104 yards. He didn't get the touchdown that we thought he got, but still, 7 receptions, 104 yards. I don't think you'd be mad at that. But I guess let's move on to the game that nobody really wants to talk about. Um, the Titans and the Dolphins. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this game was terrible. This game was absolutely awful. I mean, I kind of get why they were on Monday Night Football, just because they always try to have some random game on Monday night or Thursday for the most part. But if these teams were fully healthy, then yeah, I could get it. But as I'm saying that right now, I still don't get it. Do I really want to see Will Levis versus Tua? Like, why do I want to see that? And don't get me wrong, I understand that the NFL want to do certain games like this for exposure. We know who the Miami Dolphins are. Ain't nobody checking for nobody on Tennessee, man. When is the last time you done heard somebody bring up DeAndre Hopkins? But besides the fact that now recently he's his name has been brought up in trade rumors, like legit, like legit. When you just sitting and you talking about just players in the NFL, when is the last time that you just heard anybody just bring up DeAndre Hopkins' name just cause? Ever since he went to Purgatory in Tennessee, man, he ain't been talked about. He ain't been talked about at all. He kind of just been lost in the sauce. He damn near like that prisoner that's gotten lost in the judicial system. We don't even talk about him no more, and it's sad. And but this is why the NFL does what they try to put certain teams, and it ain't even because of DeAndre Hopkins. I do feel like with just all the moves, they done got all these defensive players, they done made some of the moves. They still trying to put some of their young quarterbacks in the spotlight, especially with all the new young quarterbacks they got this year. They trying to, and I get it, but I don't know, man. Just for it, let me go ahead and just say this. Because I ain't gonna spend too much time on this game because it ain't nothing to spend time on. Look, man, y'all got the win. But I'm not saying he's gonna be the biggest bust, but I don't know, man. Y'all know what everybody love to say, and I'm one of them. The best ability is availability. And Will Levis, his availability always gets questioned with him just doing a little too much. Like, yeah, I understand you trying to, give it your all and reach for the first down, but I don't know, man. To take a risk like that early in the year, that early in a game, it's just like there has to be some writing on the wall somewhere for you to be doing all of that. Because even the best running quarterbacks in the league ain't doing all that just to get a first down. And what he get like in the first quarter? Maybe I can't even remember when this nigga got hurt. It seemed like it was worth it. You doing all that in the early time of the game for what? Like why? And this might just be me speculating. I might be starting some shit. But a lot of times when you see a lot of people or players, I'll just say, or just people trying to go above and beyond to try to prove something, is when they know that the writing is on the wall and they trying to say they ass. They trying to prove that they still can do the do what they got to do to stick around. And that's just the type of energy I'm getting from him because I don't know. And there's a reason why. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't care what nobody say. There's a reason why he dropped as low as he did in last year's draft. There's a reason why. Now we can have speculation on a couple other quarterbacks. Hey, that's cool. But ain't none of them, even if they gotten injured, looked as bad as him. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But two more weeks for primetime games, and I'm gonna kind of speed through everything else. Uh, I'll go ahead and get through it. Ravens and the Bills, Sunday night football. Um, say man, this is the way we should have finished the Cowboys game last week. This is the exact same way we should have finished the Cowboys game last week. And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, the Bills ain't got no receivers. They ain't got the. I don't want to hear none of that. Figure it out. And people we want to try to go into context, but hey, I'm sorry. I am a Ravens fan. I stay in Dallas, Texas. I have I've wanted them to try to keep it in the context. Like, man, we got probably they don't give a damn. You know what it always curves back to? Oh, Lamar trash. He can't throw. Oh, he this. He can't do that. When it's clearly holes around his. But guess what? When you that man, you got to figure it out. So I don't want to hear no excuses about Josh Allen and nothing about nothing. Figure it out. Because guess what? Whenever the offense scores the ball, you do get the ball back and you're allowed to score. You can, go down there and go mano a mano if you really want to. You know what I'm saying? You don't just gotta watch them score and then don't do nothing. I'm just saying. I understand that quarterbacks don't play against one another, but they do have they do still have a chance to go score. Am I saying Lamar could have intercepted Josh Allen? No. Could Josh Allen have intercepted Lamar? No. But guess what? They both could have had opportunity. They both could go out there and score. And look, and I ain't even really here to kill Josh Allen. I'm really not. I just feel like he's going through with what Lamar had to go through early in his career, as far as just lack of receiving help. I do think that James Cook is a damn good running back, which Lamar had always had, but his receivers are always kind of questionable. I feel like that's what Josh Allen's going through right now. Patrick Mahomes came in with a good receiving core. We saw him do it, with lack thereof, whenever Tyreek left, and he was throwing the draft picks and Kadarius Toney's trash ass. We're gonna see if he can overcome it now that Travis Kelce really isn't getting into the mix, because that was his top dog. That was his security blanket. That was his. If I'm in trouble, I know 87 is down there somewhere. We've seen Lamar win MVPs with lesser receiving talent, but he's had a decent run game. The same way that Josh has got right now, because everybody was looking at him as the MVP front runner through the first three games. We can't say that we weren't. So I'm not trying to kill him. Look, it's gonna be growing pains when you ain't got a number one receiver out there. Let's just keep it honest. And you're working with a lot of young guys. Um, Curtis Samuel, he's a vet, but he's never like really just come out of this. Oh, he's that guy that if you really just need to play, that he can do that for you. But he's a good receiver. I ain't taking nothing away from him. But Josh Allen, for his receiving core, they're relatively young. So I think once I think they will be okay. They just build a rapport. But I do think his O line is a little just a little questionable. I don't think they're horrible, but I do think it can be some improvements. But again, everybody that we try to put at the top, Joe Burrow went through it. He looked terrible before he got hurt his first year. His offensive line was bad. Yeah, he had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, but look what happened after he got Jamar Chase. Even though, I don't like the way that people gas Joe Burrow up. I mean, I still have to call a spade a spade. He got Jamar Chase, and we saw what he did with him. And hey, we gonna see what he do now that he's lost Tyler Boyd. He still got T. Higgins. He still got Jamar. He still got his. He still got the main part of the supporting cast. But like I said, we haven't seen Joe do it without Les, but everybody else, as far as I consider top two in the league right now, in Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, we've seen them do exceptional things with less. We've seen Lamar win an MVP. We've seen Patrick Mahomes win a Super Bowl. Josh Allen, it's your turn. If we gonna keep keeping you up there as one of the top QBs in the league, I feel like this is going to be a major milestone if you were to make this work. And right now, you really have no excuse. The Dolphins are beat up. The Patriots are rebuilding. We don't know what the Jets are. Yeah, you may have lost a crucial AFC game, but guess what? Take over the division, they're gonna be talking about you a lot different. That's all I pretty much got to say about that. Uh, oh, I forgot to make this last one because I'm trying to go ahead and get into as much of these as I can. Because y'all know we got a London game this morning, so y'all, matter of fact, it's already on. But last primetime game, and then we gonna kind of skim through everything, give a quick Week 5 reaction on the Falcons and the Bucs, and then we gonna kind of get on up out of here. Um, the Cowboys and the Giants. Um, Look, I'm in Dallas. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I clearly I know a lot of Cowboys fans, and I talk a lot of Cowboys football with a lot of people. Um, I really do feel like this win is bittersweet, and I say that because there was a lot that got lost. It took a lot to win this game, but you also lost a lot to win this game. I really did not think this. I thought that Malik Neighbors was gonna get his numbers. Don't get me wrong. I thought that the Giants were gonna run the football. Don't get me wrong. That's what they always do. But what y'all lost just to win this game, and when I mean lost, I mean Micah Parsons, IR. I take that back. Now I don't believe Micah, but Brandon Cooks, he ended up suffering a knee injury from this game. IR. Yeah, enjoy that. Let's go, boys, because you might be in misery for the next couple of weeks. I ain't even gonna hold you. But Brandon Cooks knee injury from the game. They said it was an infection or something. IR. Demarcus Lawrence. IR. Micah, I believe they don't have him on the IR, but he's gonna miss some games. And I just kind of feel like the problems that already presented itself on defense. Oh, and I believe Trayvon Diggs hurt himself in practice earlier this week, and he got banged up in the game. So he may not play. We're gonna figure that out. But I just feel like that with the problems that was already presented to the Cowboys on defense, for a lot for what I would say is probably your most three important people on that team as far as like leaders and just the ones supposed to be them dogs, as far as Micah, DeMarcus Lawrence, and Trayvon Diggs all get nicked up in the same week, and you already got too many DBs that's out. Deron Bland is out. You didn't resign Stephon Gilmore, and I believe your third cornerback is out too. It's gonna be an uphill battle. And look, I'm still trying to, you know, and I'm not a fan. I'm still trying to think of a way to how the Cowboys can somehow muster up a win against Pittsburgh this week. And every time I keep telling myself, "Oh, they got to outscore them. They got to outscore them." I just don't know if I see that happening because I have to take the Steelers' defense into consideration. And before, I could say, yeah, the Cowboys could probably stop Justin Fields, but without the players that I just said are missing, I don't know. And you know what? At this point, I feel you on that. But I honestly can't even say that getting any one of those running backs would fix the Cowboys' problem. And the only reason why I say that is because I do definitely feel like it all starts with the offensive line. It all starts with the offensive line because if you go back and look, they looked at I think Zeke's numbers or just maybe the Cowboys rushing in general, and I think it was the average rushing attempt was like 4 yards an attempt, which ain't bad. But what is it getting you? Expect and guess what? If it's Zeke getting me 4 yards an attempt, I'ma live with that every day. As long as it ain't nobody else that I know that got that's a speedy running back, I'll live with Zeke doing that. Because guess what? The way that y'all tried to say Zeke looked real good last year, he does not have that same offensive line that he had in New England. And that's saying something. But I don't know, man. I just feel like, yeah, the Cowboys got the win, and that's all you want to try to do at the end of the day. But it's almost like, damn, at what cost? Because it's like you had to win the game just because, hey, this is a division opponent. These games matter more than anything else could possibly matter. So you had to have it. But I just kind of feel like maybe other Cowboys fans felt like it was just a little too close for comfort. I don't know. Or maybe Malik Neighbors is just really him. because hey, even Daniel Jones is finding out that he can get him the ball. We've been talking bad about Daniel Jones. We've been talking bad, but hey, he done figured it out. Malik Neighbors down there somewhere, and he gonna throw him that ball. But that's really all I got to say about that, though. I mean, while I'm talking, I'm rooting for the Cowboys this weekend because, of course, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. They playing the Steelers. The Steelers are in my division, so I need the Steelers to pretty much take every L that they can. Every L that they can. They took one last week. I need them to keep taking them. But I guess that's pretty much it for the. I don't think there's any other games. Oh well, I guess the only other game I could probably get into. I mean, because there were some other good games. I don't really have too much time to get into them, but I'll just do like a quick, just rundown. Bengals and Panthers. Yeah, everybody tried to make it seem like it was gonna be a Cinderella story for Andy Dalton, and yeah, I kind of realized that that wasn't gonna be. So I'm not surprised that the Bengals went ahead and took care of that, got their first win. It is what it is. Saints Falcons. Um, I think that just that just what we finna get into is that I think the Falcons are really like built to win close games. I think Kirk Cousins is showing that he can win close games. Again, won by 2 points. Close game, close game. Derek Carr didn't have the best of games. Didn't throw for a touchdown with 28 for 36, 239 yards. Had a good completion percentage, but could not get the ball into the end zone. But yeah, man, I think what I mean, same thing with Kirk. You would say he couldn't find the end zone. It was just a tough game, and I feel like that plays were made when they needed to be made on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. I did actually pay close attention to that game because I have just been trying to see what the Falcons are looking like this year. The Saints, I got a glimpse of it, but I really just want to see how Kirk Cousins looks with this team because with the talent around him, I was just hoping that I'm hoping that he progressively gets better and better, and that the NFC South can be an actual real shootout, and we can actually have some more good football down there because for the longest it's only been like a 1-2 team race. But since Drew Brees left the Saints, they've kind of been irrelevant. The Falcons have been rebuilding forever. Couldn't find a quarterback. They have one now. I want to see how they look. And then with Tampa Bay, we saw what Baker Mayfield was able to accomplish, even though they only won 9 games. When you coming in trying to fill in for Tom Brady, you at least make the second round of the playoffs. I think you did something to where your contract is well deserved. But on to the next though. Jags and Texans, AFC South rival game. Um, Let me just say this: in response to look, I heard what Diddy Noseball said on here a couple of weeks ago about the CJ Stroud and the Nico Collins connection, and I definitely get it. Um, I almost wanted to kill him for the game that they had against the Vikings because it looked bad. It looked real bad, and that was actually a game where Nico Collins really didn't get off like that, and that was just something I was wondering. Where it's like, okay, if Nico Collins doesn't get the receptions that we're used to him getting, I mean, because hell, just a game against the Jags that I'm bringing up, he had 12 catches for 151 yards, but against the Vikings, I believe he only had 4. So if you're not able to feed him the ball, that's what I was kind of wondering would happen if he didn't get, six, seven, eight, nine, double digit catches, what would his stat line look like? And also, what would it look like against someone who we consider to be one of the greater defensive coordinators in the league, in my opinion, in Brian Flores? Now, I haven't went back and looked to see exactly who they had guarding him, but that was just the questions that I had as far as like, okay, what's going to happen when this dynamic duo meets a defensive coordinator that knows how to play him or has a cornerback that I feel like is a real shutdown corner because they're on right now. I do want to see if Sauce Gardner is going to be following him around. Not not today. I forgot they play. They play the Bills today, so they're not. It's not this week that they play them. It's because I was looking at their schedule, so I want to make sure I get it because I saw a matchup where I think he is going to be able to see Sauce Gardner this weekend. I mean, not this weekend, but just in the upcoming weeks. And that was just my only thing. I just want to see how he looks again this year because they're gonna plan for him. It's not like he's just gonna be able to hide. Let me go back and look. I believe I saw they played the Jets this year though. That's why I brought that up. Yeah, so they got the Texans today. They got the Patriots. I do want to see. I mean, like I said, the Patriots they not crazy, but I do just want to see how the DB plays on it because I love Christian Gonzalez. I think he's a very good young DB. Of course, he got hurt last year, so I definitely want to see that matchup when they play the Patriots in a few weeks because they play the Bills today, and I don't think the Bills had too many DBs where I would just be like, okay, I don't feel like he can win a one on one or if they had to double them or whatever. But the Patriots matchup, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Packers in another couple of weeks to see if Jair Alexander follows him around, and then they have the Colts after that, and then I'm looking forward to see how Nico looks against the Jets. So I'm not knocking him. I mean, I love what he's doing right now, but I just kind of want to see just how it looks about some of the against some of the better defensive coordinators uh, than what he's had to go against this year. And I feel like like I said, I don't think he had to go against too many lockdown corners, but I feel like he had to face the real first defensive coordinator, like that could shut somebody down. And Brian Flores, somebody that's from that Belichick tree that really knows how to coach and scheme defense. And like I said, but that's his only bad game. I'm not putting too much stock in it. Are they a good duo? Yes. I'm just trying to see can they sustain it through the season. If they can sustain it through the season, then hey, it is what it is. Um, last two. The New York Jets suck. I'm sorry to say. Am I being impatient? Maybe. But their offense is ass. And we gotta start getting to a point to where are we not gonna look at this offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, that only got his job because of Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you kept him there all last year, and we already saw he couldn't do shit with Russ, couldn't do shit with Zach Wilson. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, bro. I feel like the same goddamn score would have got put up if you had Zach Wilson in that game against the Broncos. Because at this point, I don't think it comes down to the quarterback. I think it comes down to the coordinator. Because what are we doing? And while we on that, and we can kind of transition into this trade rumor shit, because this has been irking my nerves. Can somebody tell me why Devontae is just so? I don't know, man. Why is he so hell bent on going back to playing with his old quarterbacks? Can somebody explain to me why Devontae is so hell bent on just going to try to play with his old quarterback instead of trying to find the best situation for him to win? If Devontae goes to the Jets right now, that's not solving nothing. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't care if Nathaniel Hackett was the coordinator with you and Aaron Rodgers. I don't trust him anymore. That like I think we as a people, just as in general, just think that just because something worked before, it can work again, and that's not always the case. Because sometimes it was just meant to happen at that time, and it ain't meant to happen again. It was fun, it was good while it lasted, but sometimes you got to move on, baby. And that's just kind of how I feel like with this Devontae and Aaron situation. Same thing with Derek Carr. You trying to go back to that you played with in college. You trying to go back to him again. Am I saying your numbers were bad with him? No. But I, why is it that those two are the first two on your just because that's who you played with? That's all I'm trying to figure out. I mean, it sounds like the Raiders is only wanting a second round pick and some assets. Why with everything they going through right now? I'm sorry. Could Kansas City not be on your list? Could Baltimore not be on your list? Could Buffalo not be on your list? Those are some teams that I think are a receiver away. The Saints are not a receiver away. The Jets are not a receiver away. I just don't get what's the fascination of Devontae Adams wanting to go back to these teams. I really don't. I just feel like there are better options than the Saints and the Jets. And for you to throw that out there is kind of just, eh, I don't know. I just don't know what's his fat. And I love Devontae. I just don't get what the fascination is. Just trying to go back to these old quarterbacks, man. It's like at the end of the day, like bro, you at the age where we got to go get this chip. And the two teams that you named off, I don't think it's gonna give you the best opportunity to go in and get it. Jets and the Saints are not getting you a Super Bowl before you retire. It's not happening. And if it does somehow end up happening, I'll eat my words. But as of right now, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But I'm off the Devontae Adams thing for now. Uh, but last thing I'm gonna get into, and then I ain't even gonna really get into my week 5. You know what I'm looking forward to. I'm just gonna talk about the look, man. The Falcons and the Bucs. I don't care what anybody says, no matter what side you was on with this game. That was a damn good game. If you talking about just entertainment, back and forth, you ain't know what was gonna happen. We finally got a good Thursday night football game as far as just like this Amazon Prime. We finally got a damn good game. We got Kirko Cousins setting records for throwing over 500 yards. And I mean, I don't really just have too much to critique. I ain't got nothing to say about nobody. I mean, except for that defender on that last play on that touchdown. Instead of going for the ball, he was going for the ball. He should have been going for the tackle. But that's the only like if I just had to look at something right then and there. But look, man, I just love to see good football. I am a Baltimore fan first, but I'm going to always be a football fan. I watch ball. I love to watch the sport of football. It's exciting to me. I love to see good games. I hate to see blowouts. As anybody that know me, if I see a blowout, I don't care if it's my team that's blowing a motherfucker out. I'm cutting it off. I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see a good as a fan, yes, but it's just a lover of the sport. I like to see good competitive games. That's what I like to see. And this was a good competitive game. Went down to the wire. We saw the Atlanta Falcons had 12 seconds left on the clock. Complete a complete a play and be able to spike the ball in 11 seconds and have 1 second left. That's the type of stuff I love to see good ball because that right there could have been the game. But again, I ain't had too much to say about it. I just wanted to comment. Thank God we done had a good start to football. I hope it continues. Um, I'm about to cut on this Jets and this Vikings game, but this has been another episode. My late reaction to some games of Week 4. Just recap of Week 5 opening game with the Falcons and the Bucs. Jets and Vikings are going on right now. I'm about to catch that game. Again, trade rumors with Devontae Adams. Where do I think he's gonna land? Um, Honestly, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he lands in New Orleans or the Jets, just because the Raiders are typically known for doing good by players that done good by them, and it's like Devontae didn't come out there for all that. So I feel like they're gonna pretty much send him wherever he has to go. Do I think those are to be the best teams for him? I don't. Again, I'll put Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo at the top of my list. But only problem with that is that all of those teams are in the AFC, and I wonder if the Raiders would be reluctant to trade within the conference, let alone division, if we're talking about Kansas City. But we'll see. So, but yeah, man, this has been another episode of the Cold Truth Podcast. This your boy, White Boy Chris, and I'm out, man.